It is November 17th. The Chicago Bears are in first place. Somebody pinch me.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me.
What's going on, everybody? It is lunchtime, as Train Olive likes to say. What is going on? Got a lot to talk about today. I'm glad I was able to get through some appointments this morning and still get on the air with you all. It's good to see Corey and Joseph and Kenneth and Vicky, Frida, Mike. What's going on, everybody? Big news over the last 48 hours or so. My channel now has a sponsor for the first time in a very long time. I've been talking with Thirdzy for a couple months now, trying out their product. As many of you know, I have been dealing with sinus issues for some time now, years in fact, and it has really affected my sleep. And so I tried Thirdzy, and it has helped so much. I cannot express to you enough how much it's helped. I used to sleep in 2-hour increments, like every night. 2 hours, wake up for a little bit, go back to sleep for 2 hours, go back to sleep for 2 hours. Started using Thirdzy, and now I'm sleeping like 6 hours at a time. Get up to pee, and then go back to bed and get another couple hours. So it's really, really, really helped me a ton. And I know last night we announced this, and we had some trouble with the codes, but they all work now. It was actually my fault on my end. I did not accept something. So I've got that figured out last night. It's all worked. People are actually using the code. I can already see the numbers. So that is really, really exciting. So super excited tonight. I'm going to try the new flavored salted caramel chocolate. You can get 15% off with code Jazzy. That is Jazzy at Thirdzy.com. Or to go directly to my page, you can go to Thirdzy.com/Jazzy. Thirdzy.com/Jazzy takes you to my page. You can do the order there. That gets you 15% off. Or just type in the promo code Jazzy, and that will get you the 15% off as well. Also coming up on Black Friday, there's going to be a really great deal. I can't disclose that at this moment, but hopefully next week we'll disclose what that is. And it gets a pretty good incentive as well. What the code will get you then. So thank you to Thirdzy for giving me a good night's sleep. The last thing I'm going to say about it is melatonin has always not worked well for me. And there's no melatonin in this. It is magnesium and some other stuff. It is awesome. And but anyway, as Vicky said, Jazzy will get you jazzy from a good night's sleep. It will. Yeah, because we all want to be jazzy during the day, right? We all want to go through life a little jazzy. So yeah. Awesome. So with that, let's get to some news today. I'm going to talk personally about something for me, and that is my Chicago Bears are in first place by themselves in the NFC North. I cannot believe it. After years and years of suffering as the lovable loser Bears forever, with Detroit's loss last night to the Eagles, the Bears are in first place all by their lonesome in the NFC North. So I could not be happier this morning. I know people are saying they're paper champions, that they haven't played anybody yet. But when you've been a long-suffering fan like I have, a win is a win is a win. And I'll take them however they come, and I'll enjoy them when we get them. And I am just enjoying the process at this point. So super stoked for my Chicago Bears. Could not be happier this morning. And next week, they play the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers are my wife's favorite team, so it could be a difficult Sunday in the house. Hopefully, I come out victorious and don't have to deal with the smack talking of my own wife. But we'll see. It's going to be a rough week. We will see. Corey Leonard points out that the Saints are in sole possession of last place in the NFC South. Yeah, it's been a rough year down there, buddy. Rough year. Ha ha ha, like Union Kane, a paper champion. There it is, man. But hey, champion nonetheless. All they have to do, if they win 3 more games, 3 out of 7 games to go. If they win those, just 3, they're in the playoffs. So, I mean, we're halfway through, right? They must have played at least one good team. The Bears are legit great. The NFL is a crazy place, Jody, and so it's really hard to say that, but their schedule is much harder on this back half. But again, if they can just go 3-4 the rest of the way, that's a 10-win season, and they wake up. They make it. Eric Mackey, weak division overall, really. Green Bay overrated, and Detroit up and down, up for grabs. I wouldn't call it a weak division. It's just the way the NFL is designed. It's designed for parity. And so it's really rare to get that team that becomes a dynasty. The Chiefs are an anomaly. And if the season ends today, the Chiefs would not be in the playoffs. That's how crazy the season has been. So it's really the way they have designed it. Larry Young confirms the code works. It does. We tested it out last night. The people at Thirdzy actually were still awake after the show last night and available, and we got through everything last night. So shout out to them. If anyone wants to hire Mickey Loomis as a GM for the team, I think I can get you a pretty good deal. Listen, nobody wants Mickey Loomis, Corey. Nobody. So anyway, yeah, super psyched about that. Next thing we're going to talk about real quickly is the worst kept secret in CrossFit is that on her story today, Tia Claire Toomey, you can see this is Willow, and she is so happy because if you look at the shirt, and I'll try to blow that up, it says Big Sister. So she has formally announced that she is pregnant. And she is so happy that she's going to be a big sister. So there it is. The news we've been waiting for, the news none of us knew was there, but we really did. She is pregnant, and so apparently she will probably not compete in the 2026 CrossFit Games. Yes, Shanna, finally we get definitive word. I don't know why she's waited so long. She does this all the time, and I don't understand like what the deal is. I get she maybe wanted to wait to 12 weeks, but we have to be way past 12 weeks at this point. Way past. Vicky, I am so shocked. Joseph Ramirez, this is my shocked face. Jody, okay, case closed. Let's move on. Good grief. Eric Mackey says, Tia's CrossFit career is over. Pencil, pen, or Sharpie. That's a good one, Eric. I like it. Let's put it out there. Is Tia's CrossFit career over? Would you write that in pencil, pen, or Sharpie? Kenneth DeLapp says pencil. Train Olive, pencil. Terry, pencil. Joseph Ramirez, pencil. Vicky Pencil. Jody making up her own game and saying pause, not over. Corey Leonard pencil. Mike, number 2 pencil for sure. Pencil. So none of you believe that she is done. None of you believe she is done. That is wild. But I got to go with you guys. I've got to say pencil. I think her competitive nature, she's going to look at this as another challenge. It's another thing to overcome. Can she have a second child, come back and win a 9th title? Train Olive, she might just decide to compete pregnant. Who knows? Joseph Ramirez, I think she'll go for 10. I think the sound of 10-time champ is too enticing to her, and twice as a comeback after giving birth. So yeah, I think she looks for things to challenge her, and coming back from a second pregnancy to win the CrossFit Games would be that thing that gets her motivated. And she has said that if she goes for 9, she's going for 10. I've seen that somewhere in an interview. I think it was with like an Australian TV show. They asked her about what she would go for, and she said on that show, if she comes back for 9, she's coming back for 10. She's not stopping at 9. Corey says can't leave it at 9. If she comes back and wins, 10 is the number. I agree. Those are her own words. Train Olive, 10-time champ, 2-time mom. Definitely going for that. Corey said, yeah, it was on Aussie TV. I saw that interview. And so, Shanna says she's probably already had the baby or is having it soon and is competing in the open. That would be wild. Joseph Ramirez, I already have my 10 for Tia shirt made. She better come back. Let's go, Laura, Alex, Emma, Lucy, Olivia, Gabby. I want to see them all back for real competition. That would be wild. I'd like to see them all back with Tia. It would be nice to see if somebody or someone has made that charge back to close the gap between themselves and Tia. Kenneth Delap says Nistler did it. Let's be honest, doing it as a master's athlete would not be as hard as doing it as an elite athlete. What Andrea did at the age group games, I was there in Alabama. She was pretty dominant in that division, but it is just 35 to 39. It's a small subset of the population. So yeah, I think it is apples to oranges. Tia did it at Rogue. I think that's a better apples to apples comparison. She gave birth that year. 5 months later, she went and took second place at Rogue. I think that is very much an apples to apples comparison. It is not so much age group to elite. And I love my age group athletes, but the reality is it's a different league. Vicky, if there's a lot of pregnancy workout footage and it's being aggressive, then there won't be any question of a comeback plan. Yeah, but she has not put out anything. There's been no footage of what she's been doing, mostly probably because she's probably trying to keep the pregnancy itself a secret. But there has, maybe now that she's made it public, we'll see more. But yeah. And Joseph, it's Monday, dude. Why you got to push the buttons? Laura won't compete with Tia. That is such a crock, dude. You can't be as good as Laura is and be afraid of somebody. She's not afraid of Tia. She's not afraid to compete against her. She has nothing against Tia. The reason she didn't compete at the games was not because of Tia. It was because of CrossFit. Not because of Tia. She's not afraid of Tia. She is, in my opinion, arguably the second best female athlete to ever compete in CrossFit. Her and Annie are a big debate. But Laura has one hole that she has to overcome. The problem is Tia doesn't have those holes. And so that one hole always makes Laura lose. But Laura can go toe-to-toe with her on just about everything else in the sport. She is not afraid of Tia. Not afraid at all. Larry Young, I think Laura is the happiest woman in the world, in my opinion. I think she wants a win over Tia. I think that just solidifies her as one of the greatest athletes to ever do it. If she gets a second title and she beats Tia in the process, it elevates her easily to the second best woman ever. Ever. You guys are crazy. Kenneth, Jody, you're crazy. She is not afraid of anybody. You cannot be that good and be afraid of somebody. If you have that in your mental, in your mental makeup, you cannot be this successful. You could not be as successful as she is. She went toe to toe with Tia at Rogue on not just one occasion. They're the only two people to ever win Rogue. You guys are absolutely bananas if you think she's scared. Absolutely bananas. You do not understand the competitive mindset it takes to get to where she is. To be one of the 5 greatest athletes to ever set foot on a floor, you cannot be scared of anybody. You just would not make it. You would not make it. Larry Young, I think you want her to want to. She's scared. She is not scared. She just may not have the physical ability to beat Tia. Tia is, as we talked about with Justin Collar, a bulletproof athlete. She has no holes. She's hard to beat. It doesn't mean people are afraid of her. Jody. She went through a grieving process, and maybe that grief is over. Why? I don't understand why everybody is so hard on Laura. There have been a handful of athletes that sat out last year. Emma Lawson does not hear the stuff that Laura hears. She sat out last season too. Nobody goes at her like this. Nobody. Tia is Laura's What's Rich Doing like Khalipa. I agree, Eric. I agree. And he also has Laura as number 2 all time. Yeah, Laura is like Karl Malone or Charles Barkley. They just happened to play during the Jordan era. Laura just happened to play in the Tia era. I don't think people were even this hard on Mal O'Brien. They weren't. Joseph Ramirez, you're telling me you okay. There's no talking to you on this subject. Mike DeVito, where did Laura throw a public tantrum? Where did she throw a public tantrum? She went home from the games in 2024 when a man died. And she was not the only one. There were lots of people that left that day. Where was the public tantrum? I didn't see a public tantrum. If anything, she holed up in Hungary and just didn't talk to people. I think the way she comes off on a personal level that rubs people the wrong way. I can get that. I believe in her culture, they're just more matter of fact about things. Vicky, that's not a tantrum. And I don't think she's competing for second. I think she believes if she goes up against Tia, she has a shot. But she's going to have to be her best, the best she can be on that day. She does not think she's shooting for second. If you go in with that mindset, it's just, oh my gosh. I was not the athlete that either of these people were. But when I was swimming, there were swimmers that were better than me. But I was up in that upper tier. Never once did I go into a race thinking I couldn't beat them. Never once. Did I beat them all the time? No. But I never went in thinking that they were going to beat me that day. I, in my heart of hearts, felt like if I put together the perfect race, I could win that day. I think you guys are crazy town banana pants, as my friend Corey likes to say. That's just insanity. And that girl takes so much heat for every move she makes. Scott, sometimes if everyone sees something you don't, maybe you need to rethink. I don't think it's everyone. I think there's a group of people like you all that think this way. I truly do not feel that this is a consensus across. I've talked to a lot of people who do not think the way you guys think. Now, Kenneth must be smoking something because I love Lydia Fish. She ain't winning the games in 2026. Train Olive is with me. See, I'm not alone. Corey Leonard, if you line up and think you're going to lose before the event starts, congrats, you're right. No athlete in their right mind who is truly competitive has that mindset. Larry just poking the bear. Oh, yeah. On a Monday. Mondays are bad days to poke. Just saying. Netse Milano, a very vocal minority. I believe you're correct. There's a vocal minority that do not like Laura, and they want to dog her and everything she does. I'm not one of those people. I can look and see what she does on the floor. She dominated Rogue, and you guys can say it's not the games, but everybody who did Rogue this year said it was one of the hardest competitions they've ever done across the board. She dominated. She dominated the entire field. Yeah, Tia wasn't there, but she dominated that field. Megan, you're going to have to rewind. I ain't going over it again. Sorry. So it's already being mentioned in the chat. So the last thing I'm going to bring up is this. We have been clamoring now for the last couple weeks that WFP has never posted what the pro cards are worth, and that was something they should do to entice the athletes to say, okay, now I know what I'm going for, and this is what it's going to be. What makes it complicated is this isn't like, hey, you get this money, and it's more like, hey, this is the minimum you're going to make next year. And that makes everything so complicated with the way they're doing things. So if you win the number one pro card next year, you are guaranteed 80 grand. But that doesn't mean that if you win the first two tour stops and they don't equal 80 grand, you're not getting any more money than that guarantee. You have to win enough money to get above that to then be paid more money, which really complicates this. And anytime you overcomplicate it, I think you are losing people in the process. This should be simple, but it's not. So they put this out. If you get the number one pro card, it's 80 grand. And it goes all the way down to the 20th pro card gets 10 grand guaranteed. I'm not sure, with looking at how the people have been beaten up by doing so many events last year, that 10 grand or 12 grand or 20 grand is enough to make them incentivized enough to jump over to the WFP. And it looks like we have Patrick Clark in the comments. Oh, no, it's Hiller Fit. Scott, stop comparing it to the CrossFit Games, which Hiller I have not done and you didn't do this morning. I'm not comparing this to the CrossFit Games. I'm just, as a standalone entity, is this enough to incentivize people to want to put their bodies on the line for an extra 4 competitions a year? And I don't believe it does, unless you're in like the 80, 70, 50, maybe 50 grand. I think you're better off doing some of the mid majors and some of the off-season events to make money, rather than think that this is the way to go and beat up your body for the next season. WFP pays for the trip to Copenhagen too, right? So it's actually in the press release. I can pull that up real quick. Scott, why can't you appreciate the transparency here for the WFP? It would have been transparency had it been done like a year ago. I think at this point, when the ship is sinking and now you're claiming transparency, it might be a hair too late to play that card. When people are leaving your event in droves and now you're trying to incentivize them to stay or not to leave, now you're going to publish what the pro card's worth next year. Seems a little disingenuous. Corey Leonard, can we get them to throw in free hot dogs? Hiller's having a hard time typing in sarcasm. I'm reading into it. I got it. Mike DeVito, it's the desperate card. A tale as old as time. There you go. Why are people so mad that Costco employees are superior to most human beings? That one I'm at a loss for. I'm not a Costco fan, Hiller. I'm sorry. Our Costco here is so trash. So I'm a member of BJ's Warehouse because it's much cleaner, it's much nicer, much easier to get around. So I get the allure to a good Costco. Ours is just trash. Wish it wasn't, but it is. So we did get a media release today from the WFP, and they do say something about travel, but I can't remember. And it's really hard to read right here, and I don't want to do it on the air. I don't see anything. It just says it's a guaranteed minimum, and they don't really say anything about travel. The only travel that I've seen or heard of was Rob, the European event coordinator, saying they have a blank check to travel wherever they want to, as long as they wear a WFP shirt. Mike DeVito loves BJs, yeah. And a Shoop BJs are my favorite. Yep. So Barbell Spin confirms travel and accommodations are covered for the pros. So there you go. Corey Leonard how is that company not capitalized on that double entendre slogan? Drives me bonkers. Yeah. So you get the guaranteed money and you get your travel paid for to the events, but at what expense? We've seen people drop out. We've seen people injured. It's going to be interesting to see how incentivized people are. We've had a myriad of withdrawals in the last week, and there still is 5 weeks before the next tour stop, the finals, 5 or 6 weeks. I'm sure we're going to see more before then, and see if this is anything to keep people incentivized. The only thing that's in the WFP's favor is this rumored sale of CrossFit and not knowing where CrossFit is going next year. That's the only thing that, and again, building your platform on the failures of another entity has worked so well for WFP so far. It would really suck that they get out of this because there just is new ownership that maybe takes away the season from CrossFit. We don't know. We have no idea what these new people want or what they're going to do. Everything there is speculation. And I just hate when new owners and new CEOs jump in and have no idea what the hell they're doing. Exactly. Mike DeVito. WFP looking at the looming sale like, so you're telling me there's a chance. It's wild that WFP has been at the table with the new owners. And there's supposedly an NDA and they're not supposed to know, right? Right? Why would WFP, who has nothing to do with CrossFit or Berkshire or the people brokering the deal, why would they have preferential information above? It just, there's a lot of weird shit about this whole rumored sale. A lot of weird shit. I don't even know. I have no idea what to think anymore with that. I just don't want CrossFit to go away. I want someone to come in and make CrossFit the name it's supposed to be, make it mean something again. Vicky asks, Onyx's question, why are the elites so dismissive of the open? First in the open is nice money. Look at Colton's earnings for the year just in that, plus side comps before WFP even. Kind of nuts to me. I know Carolyn loves the Open. She has earned money in the Open the last, or at least not this year, but the 2 years previous. And it's more money than she makes at semifinals, or more money than she makes throughout the season. So I don't know why people don't. I know why. If you talk to the athletes themselves, because it's very easy for them to make the top 25%, they look at as they want it to be take the least amount away from their training. And so they don't get to pick that workout. They have to do that workout regardless of what's on deck for their training program for the week. And so a lot of them just get it done quick, get it over with, and move on so they can get back to their normal training. When it mattered, and like they actually were taking people directly from the Open to the games, or picking the people who went to regionals to compete for the games, it mattered. And it was way more than top 25%. You had to be in like the top 20 in your region. So it meant a lot more. Now it just doesn't mean anything because it's very easy for them at 80%, 60% to get in the top 25% and move on to the next level. Now we have suggested on this show that the Open score should count during quarterfinals. So you have a more complete test going into semifinals. You take the 3 scores from the Open, the 4 scores from quarterfinals, put them all together and make one 7-event entity that qualifies people to the next level. And that way the Open would matter. Because what happens is they do like the big cardio events in the Open, then they kind of take those away at quarterfinals and do more higher skill because that's the next level. Why not leave it all as one complete test moving forward into semifinals? Mike DeVito, I hope the new owners realize that the initial growth of CrossFit worked because of the simple formula. The games is a highlight of the best in the community and helps bring awareness to the community. I can do the bare minimum for the Open and make quarters. This year, they managed to make quarters matter for those of us old folks who want the chance to compete in the semis in person. Phil DePooper, that's a terrible idea. I completely disagree. Why would a more complete test not why wouldn't you want the best people in the semifinals and give them a more complete test? Why don't points from the semis go to the games? Because the games is a complete test on its own. The Open in 3 events cannot be a complete test. Quarterfinals, 4 events cannot be a complete test without some kind of skewing in one direction or another. By combining them together, you can get a complete test and get the right people to semifinals. Some athletes began to scoff at the Open because the sport grew quickly, and some of them forgot the meaning of the sports side and their place in the CrossFit ecosystem. Just my opinion. Vicky, I like that too, Scott. It's like the 5-week Open, but 2 weeks are filtered after cuts. Exactly. The 5-week Open, we used to get a more complete test. We can't get that in 3 weeks. So why not combine the 3-week Open with the quarterfinals and have that complete test again? If they're never going to bring back the 5-week Open, why not make it a 5-week Open by adding quarterfinals to the mix? Yeah, Kenneth, I saw that Hiller's new video's out. I've definitely got to check that out. Frida, I missed the 5-week open. I'm conflicted about the 5-week open personally. I was a coach. I was the head judge for our gym during the 5-week open, and it wore us out to put on a 5-week open. It just is a daunting thing for affiliate owners. Now my gym at the time did a gym wide competition. We had 150 members doing the open. We're all on separate teams. We were scoring all that. So maybe we added more to it to make it harder on ourselves. But man, that 5-week open was crazy hard for the coaches and the affiliate owners. Phil DePooper, so the wrong people have been going to semis when there are quarterfinals. I believe there have been people there that should not be there. Yes. Vicky, that said 2026 rule book is not yet. Maybe that's exactly what they're planning. Yeah, who knows? If you run an efficient affiliate with equipment and standards in every single class, the open shouldn't be any different. We made it special, Jenny, and it again, we probably put way too much on ourselves on top of what we were doing for the open. We had a major like Friday night party and a Saturday afternoon party every single week. We roped it off like it was a competition. We had people cheering from the sides. It really was a great experience for the athletes. I'm just saying we probably put too much on ourselves. Phil DePooper, the bottom of the 25% won't sign up for quarters if they know they aren't going to gain enough points to move on. I don't agree at all. I have a lot of friends who their goals are to make the 25% and to get to compete in quarters. That is their yearly goal. Their yearly goal isn't to make the games or to make semifinals. Their yearly goal is to make quarterfinals. I'm so glad they brought that back because it really was something that a lot of people shoot for. A lot of people liking the 5-week open. Tristan, 5-week was fun. Better test. I like quarters as well, though, as testing body as long as it's a test. Yes, Jonathan. So many people wanted to make it to quarters. I have so many friends that is their goal every single year is to get to quarterfinals. So with that, I'm coming up on the end of my lunch hour. It's been a fun Monday. You guys have really poked the bear today. So thank you so much for that. Winter says, all I did was cry and complain about no quarters last year. Yeah, a lot of people were really upset when the quarters went away. It took away their goal. So with that, guys, thank you so much for being here today. Love you all. Don't forget code Jazzy at Thirdzy if you want to sleep better at night and have better recovery. It's awesome. I'm going to try the new flavor tonight, the salted caramel chocolate. And maybe I'll do, I don't know. I'll tell you about it tomorrow. With that, the Bears are still in first place. And we'll see everybody next time on Lunch with the Clydesdale. Bye, guys.